Coding of different variables in a dataset. Except for string variables, question responses need to be transformed into numbers. It is very much useful for data analytical purposes. Whenever researchers have a nominal variable, they create categories for labeling. For instance, a category may be labeled as 0 and another category may be labeled as 1. However, for any statistical analysis, it does not matter which one of the two categories you code 0 and 1. But of course, you need to recall your coding to interpret the data correctly later. So the researcher can choose any number other than 0 and 1 also. Continuous and interval variables representing the values as such. So no need to recode them further. For example, the self-reported income of an individual or self-reported age of an individual that need to be entered into the same manner how it is recorded. Normally, ordinal variables are consecutively labeled from 0 or 1 for the lowest category. It is based on how many categories are there. The core ordinal variables is important that it should be mutually exclusive. That means we cannot give one value to different categories. It is also important that progression between the various categories is linear. For example, the choices of respondents for measuring satisfaction. If the options are 3, like low satisfaction, medium satisfaction and high satisfaction, the low satisfaction can be coded as 0, medium can be as 1 and high as 2. Questionnaire design is complex. Hardly an expert can design a perfect questionnaire by just sitting at their desks. Therefore, before beginning the real polling, a researcher should test their questions in an authentic setting to see if the survey as a whole and individual questions make sense and are easily understood by the respondents. To do so, a researcher could conduct the survey with a small subset of the original sample or population, aiming to minimize problems before the actual data collection begins. Such preliminary research or pre-tests make particular sense to the research. To create a data file in SPSS, open SPSS, then click on New Dataset. This opens up a spreadsheet similar to an Excel document. There are two parts to any SPSS dataset. One part labeled as variable view and another part is labeled as data view. Data view is used to enter data. Variable view is used to set up the data. It includes data names, variable labels, variable values, etc. To change data view from variable view, click on the icons in the lower left corner of the dataset. The first step of creating a dataset consists of labeling the data. We generally do the labeling in variable view. In the variable view, each row represents one variable. Each column represents responses. The first variable we normally enter into dataset will be unique variable, that is string variable. It is used to identify the respondents. To enter our survey data, go to variable view and write in respondent in the first row of the first column label name. If you enter your data, label this data appropriately, because this first variable is normally a string variable, so we need to make it as a string one. Choose the string from the drop down menu. The other variables are normally numeric variables, that is normally actual data we are entering is numeric 1. Likewise, we have to give labels, the name type of variable,